Well, Jeff, you guys get back here on a Monday. How did the guys look at on this Monday practice?
They competed hard. I mean, Coach Pillar's passion. We had a lot of juice, but we weren't, just real clean. And of course, we're working a lot of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10. It's always a great reminder. If you call offensive plays, you don't want to be in 3rd and 7 and 10. It's always a great reminder. If you're coaching defense, you want those guys to be in 3rd and 7 and 10. It's a long day calling plays when the focus of the day is 3rd and 7 to 10.
Everybody we've talked to since spring has opened has talked to us about the discipline component that you mentioned on day one. How have you seen the group kind of respond to the increase in focus on that?
Well, obviously, whenever someone's always on your butt about every little single thing, it gets pretty annoying. So I'm sure they've had their fill of me, and there's some tempers flaring out there today, and that's what we need if we're going to be really good. Historically, there's always a few one-offs. But in 5 years, these things have come down to the very last play. I would predict. I don't know the number, but it's been a lot. And even if it's not the last play, it's been to the last 6 minutes of the game. It's very much undecided. So we're trying to prepare them for that. And for whatever reason, last year we didn't perform great in those situations at the beginning of the year, and we were a lot better at the end of the year. And we're just trying to be better, Greg.
Some of the guys are telling us, I don't know if it's increased consequences or like getting caught out if you're late for a meeting or just trying to hold them more responsible. What's been the reception to all that?
Well, you'd have to talk to them. So far, they've been great with me. I can tell it's irritating them, but I'm trying to irritate them. They know where my motives are. My motives are pure. My motives are not to embarrass or shame. Those are still someone's kids. It's my responsibility to get them as good as they possibly can be, and after self-reflection, I think I've got to be better. I don't think I was a very good head coach last year, and my players are always a reflection of me, and they didn't perform as well as they have, so I obviously did not coach as well as I have.
We're supposed to talk to Vic Shaw today. What were your impressions of how he stepped up in the bowl game, kind of getting his first opportunity to start there? What stood out?
I've always been a huge Vic Shaw fan. Obviously from the 903, and I know everybody thinks I've got my preferences about my guys. And it's just more of that's because I'm from the Pine Trees, and that's where I grew up. Like, I can promise you somehow Vic Shaw's grandparents, somehow his aunts, uncles, somebody's come across Coach Traylor since I've been coaching in 1990. So I get cut a lot of slack. And when those kids go home and complain and gripe, there's a lot of people in East Texas that'll say, hang in there with him. He's going to see it to the end with you. And I'm going to do the same with Vic. He's really improved. He loves football. He's fast twitch. I expect him to have a great career. And like all of our will linebackers that have come on, they've always kind of started slow, but they end in a fireball. And I think he's going to be just like those last guys we've had. I really do.
Does that come with pressure? You guys have had a lot of really high-level players come through that position in the last few years.
I just think it's the consistency of the program. We've been very blessed to have the same staff for a long time. I don't think Jess Lepp gets near the credit he deserves. He's going on his 6th year now as a coordinator for us, and he has a certain standard over there. And Jamal Ashley does a great job of coaching those guys, and as Sadiq Haynes does as well. And we just had a lot of consistency, from Rod Wright. We've had really high IQ, high character coaches over there that have brought in some really good players and developed them.
But I just mean at the outside linebacker spot in particular, the last two guys were conference player of the year level. Is that tough for somebody like Vic to have to live up to?
Yeah, even before that, I was a big fan of Chuck Wiley. I thought Chuck was a really good football player as well.
Okay.
So we've been through them, and those kids have tradition and pride and all that stuff. From the cornerback room to the will linebacker room to the inside linebacker room to the EBE group, which is our TNTs, our safeties. The guys that went first have left a great legacy for these kids to follow. And those kids, because I'm here, those kids get talked about and celebrated a ton. And they know the tradition of what's expected because they were in the rooms with those guys.
What does Vic have to do to get to that level? What are the next steps in his development?
Just the natural maturation. And there's 3 good ones in that position. I'm ready. I can't wait for Nana to get back. He's been hurt for 2 straight years now. But I'm also a huge Cam fan. I think Cam Cooper. I think he's going to be a really good football player. And it's just a natural maturation. They're just growing up. And That's what I'm really proud of here. We've lost a few kids through the years, but our kids have stayed and played and grinded, and they've gotten a lot better, and he will fall right into that category.
What's Nana's outlook? It doesn't look like he's out there in the spring.
No, he's still. It's probably, I'd guess, a year recovery. We're just going to be safe with him. He's gone back-to-back ACL on the same leg, so that's pretty scary. So we're going to be even more cautious, I would say. Optimistic would be any time in the first month. I'd be very optimistic.
We're talking to Kamar, Missouri today as well. What sort of stands out about him and the season he put together last year coming in here?
I just like the kid that he is, his IQ. I'm a big fan. He's really smart. He's got high character. He came a long ways. He's a long way from his people. He loves his people. That's why we took Fredo on the trip to the bowl game. We're trying to get Fredo some NIL deals, some free kindling. He's just a good boy, and his parents are grateful. We played up at East Carolina. I was on the bus. Of course, you know how upset I was after the game, but they had come to watch him play, and they just wanted to thank me. And I got off the bus, and I'm really glad I did it, because it reminds you when you treat someone's kid the way you'd want your own kid treated. Those kids go home and they tell their parents. I mean, they talk about their coach, and I'm just a big fan of his. You can coach him hard. He's emotional, he's tough, and he likes to compete, but he's got enough IQ. He understands why you're getting after him. And I call him Fredo because of his dog. He brings his dog over to my house when he comes over. He's got a great dog, man. So big fan of Kamar. He's a good football player too, by the way. I didn't talk about that. He kept getting better as the year went on. By the end of the year, he was really good. And I think he's grateful just for that opportunity to come here and play and be a leader. And he's going to make us really good.
Believe it or not, I've got Fredo in the notes here. How did he end up in the Myrtle Beach Bowl celebration? I wasn't expecting that.
True story. Kamar came to me, and problem, Kamar's in Baltimore where his family are. Who's going to take care of the dog? We're going to be gone for a week, pretty much. Like, what's he going to do? I'm like, Bubba, you got to be able to get him on the plane. He's like, I've got all the paperwork, coach. I got everything done. I said, well, if you got all that, we'll figure out a way to babysit him. Well, the only thing we didn't really think to do was the game. And now we're at the game, and Fredo's with us. So, as soon as the game's over, he asked me, he said, can Fredo be out there? I'm like, yeah, bring Fredo. And next thing I know, he's in all the videos. And, he's a little pop star now, or dog star. Story of Fredo grows.
Love that.
Thanks, Jeff.